Hey guys, this is Dr. Hub. Today we look at the test for significance. So what do we have here? So how to choose which test to use. So first we have to see the variable. So see the variable and then we see if the variable is going to be the quantitative. Is it quantitative or is it going to be the qualitative? So if the variable is quantitative, that is nominal, then use the chi-square test. Use the chi-square test. And if the variable is going to be quantitative, if the variable is going to be quantitative. So let's rewind. We spoke about the test being qualitative. So in terms of the nominal or chi-square test, it is qualitative. That is LIT, qualitative. And in terms of the variables, that is quantitative, they are divided into two groups or more than two groups. This is quantitative. That is 2 greater than equal to 2 groups. So in case the two groups are tested, that is the quantitative. So if two groups are tested, the t-test is used. The t-test, they are used, and in that the same group is tested before and after. So same group if you see, it is tested. This will be before and after. And pair t-test is used. So we have a paired t-test. This is used, and otherwise an unpaired is also used. So the same group is tested before and after. The paired t-test is used, otherwise unpaired t-test. Next, if more than two groups, if greater than two groups. So greater than two groups, what is being done? The tested, then use ANOVA. So let's recap. In terms of the variable in qualitative, that is nominal, then chi-square is used. In terms of quantitative, TIT, ATIV, that is quantitative, then it is, we use two or more groups. If two groups, they are related, it is a t-test, that is paired, and if it is not related before and after, it will be unpaired. And if in case of two or more groups are involved, it is the ANOVA test. Now let's go with the t-test. So t-test, there is an unpaired t-test. So in case of the unpaired t-test, this is also known as a student t-test. It is known as a student t-test or the independent t-test. Student t-test, independent t-test, or the two sample t-test. So it is commonly used t-test. It is common. It is a commonly used t-test, and it tests the difference between the two groups. So there is, we check the difference between the two groups, and this means the means of the two groups. So you look at the means, and this is of the two groups, and it is independent of each other and indicate how significant the others are. So it is independent of each other. Next we look at the paired t-test. So paired t-test, that is, it pairs before the marriage are not the same after. So this is what is meant here. So in case of the paired test, is mainly used in the comparison as a before and after scenario. So before and after scenario is where we use the paired t-test. So it is also known as a correlated t-test. It is aka the correlated t-test, and also the dependent sample t-test, and it is mainly used on the different variables. It is used on different variables Next, for example, let's look at an example. This is going to be the cholesterol levels. There is a cholesterol level of a person before and after using a specific drug. So it is before and after the drug, the specific drug. And it will also be used when you put in some condition under the test using different items or things. For example, crash test. So testing using different items or things, that is crash safety test. Crash test for cars, various cars. So next we'll move on to the T-score. So what is the T-score? The T-score is referred to as the ratio. So T-score is nothing but the ratio, and this is the difference, ratio of the difference, and this will be between the two groups and the differences within the groups. So it is between the two groups as well as the difference between the groups. So the smaller the T, the smaller the T-score, the more similarity there is between the groups and vice versa. So smaller the T-score, there is greater similarity. So there's greater similarity, this is between the groups, two groups. Similarity between two groups and vice versa. Next we look at the analysis of variance. So in short it is known as ANOVA. That is, let's write it down, it is analysis of the variance. So the analysis of the variance test is used to test the differences between. So it is used to test the difference. So there is difference between the two or usually more than two groups. So it is between two or greater than two groups. And here the interference are made by analyzing the variance. So you analyze the variance here. Analysis of the variance is done. Next we move on to the chi-square test. So what happens in case of the chi-square test? So here in chi-square test, it is a non-parametric. It is non-parametric. That is, it is non-numeric. It is a non-parametric, that is a non-numeric test, and it is used to test the hypothesis in relation. It is used to test the hypothesis. Hypothesis. It is a hypothesis test that tests the hypothesis, and it is in relation to the nominal scale data. This is in relation to the nominal scale data. Nominal scale data or the categorical data. And it is a test of proportion and association. It is a test of proportion and the association. And a chi-square distribution is usually positive skewed. So it is positive skewed, but it approaches a normal distribution as its degrees of freedom increases. So it approaches a normal distribution, and this is as the degrees of freedom increases. So as the freedom degree increases. Next is in case of chi-square test, if the frequency of any cells of a categorical table is less than 5. So if any cell frequency of a categorical table, so this is less than 5. If it is less than 5, the Fisher exact test is used. So we use the Fisher exact test is implemented and it is used.